She said she loved you, and then she disappeared. Why does it always end like this? You gave your heart and lost your mind. Let me tell you the truth about love, the one no one dares to say. They told you love would save you, that one day the right woman would show up and everything would make sense. Your pain would disappear. Your past would finally matter to someone, and you'd finally be enough. But that was a lie. Real love doesn't arrive like a gift. It's not romantic, it's not easy, and it won't fix what's broken inside of you. Real love is built, and only those who are willing to suffer for it will ever taste it. See, no one teaches men how love really works. They tell you to wait, to be nice, to give her everything. But they never tell you this. If you don't know who you are, you will lose yourself in every woman you meet. Because what you're calling love might just be your fear of being alone. And she won't save you from that. Jung said, "We are divided, and we search for someone to complete us. But if you start divided, you will end broken. If you enter love expecting someone to complete you, you'll suffocate her. You'll chase, you'll lose, and then you'll call it betrayal. But it wasn't betrayal. It was your illusion collapsing. Real love isn't a fairy tale. It's not a chemical high. It's not butterflies and texts at midnight. It's war. It's truth. It's sacrifice. And it will demand everything from you. So before you go searching for the right person, ask yourself, are you the man who's ready to carry real love? Because if you're still looking to be saved, you're not ready to love. Not yet. There's something most men don't want to admit, but it controls everything they do in love. It's not lust. It's not jealousy. It's not even fear of betrayal. It's this: the silent, desperate need to be chosen. We grow up believing that once we're picked by the right woman, we'll finally feel valuable, validated, worthy. We don't say it out loud, but it shapes every move we make. Why did you ignore the red flags? Why did you stay after the lies? Why did you keep giving, even when she stopped caring? Because deep down, you weren't chasing her. You were chasing approval. You were chasing the version of yourself you hoped she would finally see. You didn't want love. You wanted recognition. But here's the brutal truth. No woman can validate a man who hasn't validated himself. And most men never face that. They fall into relationships like wounded boys, looking for mothers in the bodies of lovers. And when those women leave, they fall apart. Because she didn't just walk away. She walked away from the only version of themselves they ever believed was lovable. That is the hidden male need. The need to be enough in someone else's eyes. But the problem is this: if you need someone to tell you you're enough, you'll never be enough, because power isn't given. It's built, and worth isn't awarded. It's declared by you, to you. You have to look at the wreckage of who you've been, and decide you're done playing the fool, done chasing love to heal what you never faced. The truth? Until you stop needing to be chosen, you'll keep choosing pain. So let's ask the real question. What does real love actually look like? Not the Hollywood version, not the fantasy your teenage self believed in, but real love. The kind that breaks you open and forces you to grow. Let's be clear. Love is not a feeling. It's a pattern, a rhythm, a direction. It's how someone shows up, how they move when things get hard. It's how they hold your pain without needing to fix it or run from it. It's not fireworks. It's not drama. It's not the highs that leave you empty the next day. It's consistency. It's respect when you're weak. It's staying when the mask falls off. And it's accountability for both of you. Love isn't someone who makes you feel good for a while. It's someone who makes you better, whether it's easy or not. Real love confronts. It sharpens. It exposes the selfish parts of you and invites you to let them die. You know it's love, not because you feel obsessed, but because you feel safe, you feel seen, and most importantly, you feel challenged. If love doesn't demand evolution, it's just attachment. If it doesn't stretch your soul, it's comfort. And if it doesn't bring out the man you're meant to become, then maybe it's not love at all. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it's need. Maybe it's an escape. But love, real love, asks something from you. It doesn't worship your potential. It calls it out. It says, I see the man you could be. Now rise. They never told you this, but real love isn't calm. It isn't soft. It isn't easy. Love is conflict. Love is tension. Love is war. Not the kind that destroys you, but the kind that reveals you. In ancient myth, love wasn't symbolized by peace. It was Aphrodite and Ares. Desire and destruction, beauty and rage, attraction and chaos. Because only in conflict do you truly see the other. And only in the fire do you learn what your love is made of. Let's be honest. Most relationships today are just avoidance. Two people performing, pretending, suppressing what they feel just to keep the peace. But peace without truth is just emotional silence, and silence kills more love than hate ever could. You know what love really is? It's when two people can face each other with all their wounds, all their fear, all their ego, and still choose to stay in the room. It's the arguments that don't destroy but refine. It's when you finally say what you've been too afraid to say, and she listens, not because you're perfect, but because she's not afraid of your shadow. And you're not afraid of hers. Because you've faced your own. See, conflict isn't the opposite of love. It's a sign that the relationship is real, that something inside you is being threatened, which means something is being transformed. But that's the part most men can't handle. They either submit and silence themselves to keep her, or they explode and destroy the very thing they wanted to protect. Both are fear. But a man who's done the work, he knows how to stay present in the chaos, to speak truth with clarity, to hold space for disagreement without collapsing, because he doesn't need to win. He needs to grow, and so does she. That is what love asks. Not your comfort, not your performance, but your truth, even when it shakes the room. Everyone talks about what they want from love. No one talks about what it will take from you. We think love means receiving more attention, more comfort, more validation, more affection. But the truth is, real love takes. It doesn't just add to your life, it demands your transformation. It asks you to let go of the parts of you that can't carry it. Your pride, your games, your old wounds, your fear of vulnerability, your need to always be right. Love will show you what inside of you must die for something stronger to be born. But sacrifice isn't loss, it's refinement. It's the process of becoming worthy of what you say you want. You want a woman who sees you? Then stop hiding. You want respect? Then stop seeking control. You want depth? Then let go of your performative charm, your surface-level jokes, your armor. Because you can't build real love with the same self that built your survival. Love isn't supposed to protect your ego. It's supposed to confront it. And yes, that means discomfort. That means moments where you feel like you're losing yourself. But what you're really losing is the version of you that wasn't ready. That boy inside you who needed to be liked, to be chased, to be told he's enough. Let him die. So the man inside you, the one who's grounded, present, dangerous in his peace, can finally take the lead. Real love won't reward your illusions. It will strip them. It will put a mirror in front of you and whisper, "Now show me who you really are." That is the cost. That is the sacrifice. And if you're not willing to lose yourself for the truth, you'll always trade it for comfort. And call it love. Let's get some things straight. If love is making you smaller, quieter, weaker, that's not love. That's emotional gravity pulling you into a cage. Love is supposed to lift, to breathe oxygen into your life, to challenge you, yes, but never to crush you. If being with her means shrinking who you are just to keep her, you're not in love. You're in submission, and that's a slow death. You start hiding your truth. You stop chasing your mission. You begin editing yourself. What you say, what you feel, even how you show up in the world. All for what? To avoid conflict? To not be alone? To keep her happy? But if keeping her costs you, then what exactly are you holding on to? You're not a man in love. You're a man in survival. And here's the thing no one wants to say. Some women will not love the man you are. They will love the version of you that bends, that softens, that obeys. And you'll mistake that comfort for connection. You'll call it peace. But inside, you'll rot. Because deep down, you'll know you're not being met. You're being managed. Real love doesn't shrink you. It expands you. It helps you rise into your purpose. It makes your voice stronger, not quieter. It respects your edges. It doesn't sand them off. If you find yourself more confused, more anxious, more exhausted than you were before the relationship, that's not love. That's your intuition screaming. Because love may hurt at times, but it should never deplete you. It should never drown you. It should never make you question your value, just to keep its presence. True love doesn't need to be chased. It stands beside you, not above you, not behind you, beside. So, if she makes you feel small, ask yourself why you're still there, and what part of you is afraid to walk away. Because love that lifts won't beg to be held. It will make space for you to rise. They told you to look for stability, a good, steady relationship, something calm, predictable, safe. But what they didn't tell you is that stability without movement is death in disguise. Love isn't meant to be a still lake. It's meant to be a river, flowing, shifting, unpredictable, alive. The moment a relationship stops growing, it starts dying, because we, as men, are not built for stagnation. And neither is the human soul. When you stay the same just to keep the peace, you begin to rot. Spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. A stable relationship that never changes becomes a prison made of habits. You stop exploring. You stop discovering. You stop becoming. And that's when boredom sets in. Then resentment. Then the search for escape, whether it's hers or yours. Real love isn't safe. It's transformative. It asks you to evolve constantly, to break and rebuild, to revisit parts of yourself you thought were healed, and to meet parts of your partner you haven't seen before. If you're in a relationship where you already know everything about her, that's not love. That's illusion. Because real love grows. It surprises. It shifts with time, with seasons, with struggle. And if it doesn't, you're not in love. You're in a routine. And routines don't hold souls. They hold ghosts. So many men stay in lifeless relationships because they confuse no problems with everything's fine. But numbness isn't peace. It's just silence before the storm. Love that doesn't move becomes stale, then bitter, then gone. So don't ask, is my relationship stable? Ask instead, is my relationship still alive? Because the truth is this: if you're not evolving inside your love, then neither of you are loving. You're just tolerating. And that's not love. That's slow erosion with a smile. Most men don't fail at love because they're bad partners. They fail because they enter love for the wrong reasons. They want comfort. They want escape. They want someone to fix what they're not ready to face. And so they chase a woman like she's medicine. But when the high wears off, they're left with the same pain, plus the weight of disappointment. You see, men are told to get a good woman, to settle down, to build a life. But no one tells them, if you haven't built yourself, nothing you build will last. So they become performers, pleasers, chameleons. They say what she wants to hear. They act like the man she wants, but forget who they are. And in that forgetting, they lose everything. Not because she left, but because they never really showed up in the first place. They were just mirroring, projecting, hoping she'd love the mask enough to stay. But women don't fall in love with masks. They fall in love with presence, with certainty, with truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Most men fail at love because they'd rather be liked than be honest. They'd rather keep her close than say what they really feel. They'd rather keep peace than risk rejection. And in doing so, they betray themselves first, long before she ever walks away. Real love doesn't require perfection, but it does require authenticity. And most men aren't authentic. They're conditioned to be strong but silent, bold but agreeable, confident but never too much. So they live in the in-between, muted, performing, afraid. But the man who fails in love is not a weak man. He's a man who's never been taught that love begins with self. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And until you face who you are, fully, brutally, honestly, you'll keep finding women who reflect the parts of you you've been avoiding. That's not punishment. That's psychology. And until you grow, you'll keep falling. Here's the truth nobody told you, because most people don't even know it themselves. Real love isn't about finding the perfect person. It's about becoming the kind of man who can hold something imperfect and still choose to stay. You think love is about being chosen? It's not. It's about who you become once you're in it. Because real love doesn't care about your image. It cares about your depth. And here's what makes it so rare. Real love is not always beautiful. Sometimes it's ugly. It exposes you. It pulls out your fears. It pokes your wounds. And it shows you exactly where you haven't healed. Real love doesn't praise your potential. It demands your presence. It doesn't let you coast. It requires attention, consistency, truth, and it will show you quickly what part of you is still immature, still reactive, still clinging to fantasy. But no one talks about that. Because it's not romantic, it's not viral. It doesn't get likes. What it gets is silence, struggle, and then, if you're strong enough to stay in it, transformation. See, most people don't want love. They want validation. They want ease. They want someone to soothe their wounds. But love is not a bomb. It's a battlefield. It's where your demons meet hers. It's where you see each other without masks and choose again. Because that's what love really is, a decision made over and over, especially when it hurts, especially when your ego screams to run, especially when your past wants to sabotage everything. Love is brutal honesty, and brutal honesty is rare. So rare, most people call it toxic just because it makes them uncomfortable. But discomfort is where growth begins, and growth is where real love lives. Not in the fantasies, not in the chemistry, not in the dream of the perfect woman, but in the hard work of two imperfect souls choosing truth over comfort. Every single day. So, now you know. Real love isn't magical. It's not something you fall into. It's something you build. With hands that shake. With a heart that's been broken. And with a mind that finally understands what it takes. Because love isn't about finding someone who completes you. That's a lie. Love is about becoming the kind of man who no longer needs to be completed, because he's already whole. And from that place, from that grounded, present, unshakable center, he chooses someone not to fix him, but to build with him. You want real love? Then stop chasing. Stop begging. Stop molding yourself to be liked. And start becoming the man who is too powerful to be ignored. The man who doesn't need love to survive, but who can carry it with honor when it arrives. That man isn't afraid to be alone. He doesn't abandon himself to avoid abandonment. He doesn't trade truth for peace. And he sure as hell doesn't confuse attention with affection. He knows what he stands for. He's done the work. He's failed. He's been broken. But he's still standing. And when love finds him, he doesn't lose himself in it. He adds to it. He leads in it. He protects it. Because real love deserves a real man. Not a performer, not a boy in a man's body, not someone waiting to be saved. It deserves a man who's already saved himself, who's faced his demons, who's walked through his own fire, and who came out not clean, but conscious. So if you're asking, where's my real love? Start here. Become the man you've never had the courage to be. And maybe, just maybe, love will find you when you no longer need it to. If this message woke something inside you, don't ignore it. You're not weak. You're awakening. Subscribe and step into the kind of truth most men avoid. Tell me in the comments, what part of you are you finally ready to let die?